when I first met you, you were physically the guy ripping apart houses and throwing old toilets out of blown out walls from like 2 or 3 stories up. And now you're wearing championship wrestling belts instead of tool belts. So take me on the full journey of where you started with Arkham all the way up to what it's become now. And
man, I'm
we
gonna have to
have
order
plenty
another
of time. We have
before I dive into
plenty of
that.
time.
Neil, Jason. No, but I was like in all kinds of various sales jobs in my 20s. I was doing the whole like touring metal band thing. We did like some regional tours and all that stuff. So it was always like kind of these sales jobs that I could like get in and out of. It was like no big obligation. And those sales jobs eventually landed me in banking. And I was working at like a bank, and then I ended up working at a university as like recruiting students for schools. And just really unhappy with it all. And I was in the middle of buying a house and buying my first rental, and all this grass needed cut, like the rental I was in and the rental I was buying and the house that we were buying. And I was like, oh, wow, you know, how am I going to get the mower to all these places and cut all this grass? And I used to do like a landscaping thing when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And it never like really went anywhere because I never had a vehicle or a truck or anything. Plus I got into the whole band thing. And but I was like, oh, well, you know, screw it. I'm gonna fold the seats down in my Saturn Ion and shove this lawnmower in there and go bang out all these yards. And I come back to the rental. I was like leaving and packing up, and the landlord's there. And I told him about this whole fiasco with all the grass. And he's like, oh, yeah, you should start a little business. You could call it Steven the Mower. That's the worst name ever. But, yeah, no, but I was like, it's something.
And
just,
thus Steven the Mower was born.
Yeah. But, yeah, I just ended up just doing like a little, you know, just got some business cards printed up, like Vista Print. This is before the days of Some Good Print. And I just, I started just going out there and passing out all these little cards and flyers. Yeah, one more of those. And can I get an order of the crab cakes, please? Just the appetizer for now, yeah. I got all you can eat crabs with Allie Oxenblood later at 5 o'clock. So
oh, nice. Well, we've had her on here, so tell her I said hey.
Yeah, another shout out there. Ravenwood Tattoo. Ravenwood Collective,
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so I just like started like banging out these yards on the weekends and whenever I could, and started accumulating all these clients and just you know, Facebook and all that stuff. And then eventually I just said screw it, and I quit the office job and just went full time with the lawns. And that was like one of those deals where it's like you have to take a step back to take 2 forward. And, you know, it was like an instant pay cut. I mean, obviously, you know, going from what I was doing to cutting grass, but, you know, just worth it in so many other ways. I mean, just like, let alone like drinking a beer at the end of a day like that. I mean, so much more satisfying than after sitting in an office all day. Yeah, so within a year of doing these lawns, I ended up hooking up with the owner of the property management company. I ended up getting my real estate license through initially. So I was doing the yard at this place. He was getting the listing on this place. And he was like, oh, well, what else do you do? And I said, well, I can paint and, you know, all this stuff. And I knew winter was coming up. And he was like, oh, what else? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, you hang drywall? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. And
I could.
I didn't any of that in my life. And next thing I knew, I was like doing like flooring. I was like YouTubing all this shit, like drywall, and you know, just started just doing it and got the hang of it. And then that following spring, I did my first full house renovation for one of their properties that they were managing for an investor who was flipping it and using it as a rental. Yeah, that spring, did that, and then I ended up finding the tenant for that unit. Just, it was this girl walking up and down the street like I'm looking for an apartment that's for rent around here. And I'm like, I have no idea, but this place is going to be available pretty soon. So you want to check it out? And she ended up renting it. And the owner of the property management company or the realty company at the time, he was like, well, you should probably think about getting your real estate license. So I think it was like that following year is when I finally got my license and just started kind of picking away at every little real estate aspect that company was doing, like the property management, the leasing agent aspect, and then helping first-time home buyers. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, man. And then ultimately, I want to say it was in like 2017, 2018, like 4 years later, I ended up like becoming a partner with the owner of that company to do like some flips. And we partnered up and did a couple flips in Sharpsburg. And then I ended up shortly after that leaving that company. And that's when I got my broker's license and started Arkham Realty.